I want to teach you how to set up a WooCommerce store. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you were to ask me, if you are doing as splendid as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, we have a comprehensive WooCommerce store setup tutorial for beginners, and I'm going to show you how to create a WooCommerce store. First of all, what is WooCommerce? WooCommerce is really an open source shopping cart plugin free to download and use on WordPress websites. Okay, WordPress websites. Running an online store though isn't cost free, as there will be costs associated with hosting and domain fees, at least along with customizations, designs, branding, marketing, advertising, you name it. So first, step number one, get your website ready. If you're starting from scratch, I want you to head to WooCommerce.com start to get a basic site in place. If you already have a self-hosted WordPress site or a WordPress.com site with a business plan, you want to head to the plugin section of your dashboard to search for, add, and activate the WooCommerce plugin. It is a plugin, all right? Step number two, install the plugin. So the first thing you will need to do is install the WooCommerce plugin on your website. And you can download it for free. Actually, there is a WordPress repository. You download it from there and you upload it to your website. Even easier, you can install it right through your WordPress dashboard. To do this, you want to access your WordPress site, right? And you navigate to plugins, add new, all right? And then you use the search bar to locate WooCommerce and you click install now when you find the right plugin. And the plugin author should be listed as automatic. Very important. So just give up the plugin a moment to install, all right? And then you want to click on activate. You got to activate it. At this point, the plugin will be up and running on your website. Very easy. Step number three, you want to access the setup wizard. So after installing WooCommerce, you will be prompted to walk through a setup wizard. This is very important. It is optional, but we strongly recommend going through it in order to configure some key settings, and those settings will be very important to your store. So having a customizable e-commerce platform means that there are a lot of available settings to tweak, right? The setup wizard takes you through all the necessary steps to set up your store and get it ready to start selling. And so immediately after activating the plugin, you're taken to something called a store profiler. And this will allow you to provide the most important details about your store, where it is based, what industry, which products, so on and so forth. Okay, so once you actually go through that, I'm going to show you a checklist you have to go through to make sure that all aspects of your online store are ready to start selling. So step number four, you want to configure your store. So what is your store based? So you give the location, and if you're setting a store for a client, for instance, or for yourself, you want to build a better WooCommerce experience. So there is a pop-up that will ask you to participate in improving WooCommerce. You can click yes, count me in, or no, thanks. It really depends on you. In which industry does the store operate? You want to actually put that information there. What type of the types of products that will be listed on your store, and then you tell WooCommerce a little bit about your business. So in this section, you can provide more information about your business, which will help WooCommerce actually tailor a customized experience for you. Very important. Next, you can actually install marketing tools if needed. This is optional, but yeah, we strongly recommend it. You can also easily install useful marketing tools that will help your business grow. And keep in mind that all extensions and services can be deactivated and uninstalled if you later decide to not use them. So don't feel like, you know what, if I install this, this will be like a pain in the butt for me to deactivate it. No, this is not, you're not committed to something forever. You can actually uninstall it if you don't like it. So we actually have done research and we recommend 3 plugins, 3 integrations that will really help you. First, you have MailChimp or any other, you can use Sending Blue or other email marketing plugin, but MailChimp is kind of cool for WooCommerce. So you have MailChimp for WooCommerce, which allows you to automate emails, send promos, and build mailing lists, something you have to do anyway if you have an online store. Then you have Facebook for WooCommerce, right? So this will help you bring your products to social media. And then you have Google Ads for WooCommerce, which allows you to show your products to any Google audience, right? On any Google platform. I'm referring here to YouTube, Gmail, search, right? You name it. So MailChimp for WooCommerce, we're showing this to you right now on the screen. You can use it to increase your revenue potential. Again, we're talking here about an online store, so it's very important to have the right parameters in place to increase your revenue potential. And how do you do that? Through automation, retargeting ads, purchase likelihood. You can also increase traffic to your site and drive repeat purchases. That's what you want anyway, right? You want to have a plugin that allows you to have CRM, customer relationship management process in place. You can place digital ads, social media, analytics, and reporting and testing. All of this, folks, through your MailChimp for WooCommerce plugin. What about Facebook for WooCommerce? This is a great gateway to showcase your products to social media. So you have Facebook tools that help your business grow. And with the plugin, you can create a shop. This is a customizable, mobile-friendly online store that allows shoppers to actually find you on Facebook and Instagram. This is very important, folks. And then you can sync your WooCommerce products. You can add checkout on Instagram. This is available only for U.S. customers. You can buy Facebook and Instagram ads directly on WooCommerce. And you can use the Facebook Pixel and Conversions API to get the data you need to drive your business forward. And this is kind of cool. And then last but not the least, you can also add Messenger to your website to answer customer questions. We've covered Facebook Messenger on other shows, so please avail yourself of that show. You can also have the third plugin is Google Ads for WooCommerce. This allows you to show your products on any Google platform, as I said before. So you get your product in front of millions of shoppers that are searching on Google. This is pretty cool. And actually, WooCommerce has partnered with a company called Clicken, and they are actually, we're showing this to you right now. This is the website, and they help you actually integrate your Google Ads into your WooCommerce platform. So to do that, you just got to go to your Google Merchant Center account, optimize smart product feeds, access free listings, and run paid smart shopping campaigns. And you can do that very, very simply. And it's automatic on Clicken by WooCommerce or Clicken and WooCommerce. Next, I want you to think about choosing a theme. Now, this is very important because you want to choose how your store appears to customers. This has some kind of branding, I would say reflection, right? Because a theme has to do with colors and all that kind of stuff. So you can choose a new theme among WooCommerce free and paid options. You can also upload a theme as well, which is the last option in the list. You can always switch themes and edit them later. Don't worry about if you choose one thing, you can't change it later. You can always change things later. And one thing I want to say, you can enhance your store with Jetpack and WooCommerce shipping and tax. If you want to collect automated taxes, print shipping labels, WooCommerce suggests that you actually install, and our research has shown that this is the right advice here. We suggest that you install Jetpack and WooCommerce shipping and tax, as those two integrations will make the rest of the store setup easier for you. All extensions can also be deactivated and uninstalled. Again, as I said earlier, if you later decide to not use them, there is no obligation, folks. So Jetpack, as I'm showing to you right now on the screen, is another one of WooCommerce's partners for automated integrations tools, but it is a separate entity. Okay, so that's about that. And then you have to optimize your store. So after you finish or skip the store profile page, you really have access to a list of the most important tasks that you need to complete. Okay, and this is how you are going to get your store up and running. So you can see on the screen I'm showing you right now. So to actually put the store details, you can actually also, if you purchase and install extensions, we're showing this to you on the screen right now, any extensions that you really feel like it's suitable to your store, you can actually buy that, and you can start adding your first products. You can add manually your products, you can import, you can migrate, you can import sample data. I have a later in the show, I'm going to show you how to add product to your WooCommerce store. And you really want to personalize your store here. So here I'm showing you how to get started with customizing your store's look and feel. So if you don't have any products that you can automatically import, you can actually use some demo products from WooCommerce so you can see how they look both in the store and in your product management interface. You won't see this step if you already have products. So we're showing you right now, you can see on the screen. Then WooCommerce can automatically create a homepage for your store, and you can always edit it later on. You can see on the screen also. You can also upload actually your store's logo right away in a simple step. So we're showing you right now the logo upload feature here. And finally, you can easily display a prominent notice across all pages of your store. Note that the visibility of this notice and its place on your store will be affected by the choice of theme. That makes sense, right? Basically, if you choose certain colors, then the color of the notice will actually match the colors that you have used primarily. What I want to say here is that all these elements that I just told you are part of your ability to brand your store, to make your store bespoke, to make your store unique, and to differentiate yourself from the competition. Next, I want you to set up shipping. This is an important element for folks. You can actually confirm your store location or edit if you haven't done it before. Shipping is kind of important, not only from in terms of how you reach customers and how fast your products will be shipped to customers, but also for tax implications. And I will speak later on about fiscal implications. If you have a WooCommerce store, how you manage all the tax implications of that store, how to make sure that you don't run afoul of regulatory guidelines, of tax laws, not only from where you operate, but also in the countries where your customers live. Right? This is the duality here. You have not only you have to comply with tax laws where you live, but also where your customer live. So I'm showing you the first screen you can see here. You can see the shipping settings here. You can also set the shipping cost for your country and for the rest of the world as well. Adding shipping costs for the rest of the world can be disabled in this step. It really depends on your store. It depends on what kind of geographies you serve. Next, you will be asked to choose a shipping option. Be very careful here because this is, again, going back to what I said about the duality here. You want to comply with laws not only where you live, where your store is located, but also in the geographies that where your customers are located. So you'll be asked to identify weight and dimension units to use for shipping cost estimates. And WooCommerce supports flat rate shipping, free live rates, and at-home label printing for the US and Canada through a service called WooCommerce Shipping. This right now, they're still thinking about expanding it to other countries, but right now it's only available in North America except Mexico. So they just cover right now the United States and Canada. Next up is what they call the extras section. And this is where you will see if the theme you installed, you may have done this when you first set up your WordPress site, is compatible with WooCommerce. And you will also get some additional recommended extensions, which are free. And this is, again, this is here WooCommerce actually hand-holding you through the process and making sure that the ultimate result, your store, is set up correctly, not only from a branding perspective, but also the background, the back office, the technical layout of the site is in sync with what you want to do. And you can choose actually to install WooCommerce's default theme, Storefront. In our research, we've seen that a lot of millions of customers or hundreds of thousands, not millions, hundreds of thousands of customers are comfortable and they're happy with the default theme, Storefront. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We're still having a conversation here about WooCommerce, and I'm giving you a tutorial on how to set up a WooCommerce store. Step number 10, you want to set up taxes. I spoke earlier about taxes. This is very important. You can actually confirm your store location or edit if you haven't done it before. Okay, and if you have Jetpack and WooCommerce shipping and tax installed, you can start automatically calculating taxes by connecting your store to WordPress.com. So you can actually visit the page shown on the screen right now if you want to learn more automated taxes and the countries where it's available. So I'm showing this to you right now. And if you click to connect your store, you'll be redirected to the WordPress.com flow so you can create an account or log into an existing account. And after you finish the process, you'll be redirected to the task where you can enable the automated tax calculation by selecting yes, please. Important though, folks, if you are in a country where any of WooCommerce's cloud-based services are offered to automatically calculate shipping rates and calculate tax at checkout, this is pretty good. You can actually use this integration here, as I'm showing you on the screen here. And the cool thing here is if you are in the US, you'll want to enable this particular automated integration given the new laws. Okay, and once you've completed the setup wizard, you will land in your newly e-commerce ready WordPress site. And here are once you have this sort of configuration ready, you want to head to the settings tab to review your information. So you want to review all the necessary information as you can see on the screen here, and make sure an SKU is created for each product. This is very important, folks, in terms of inventory management, but also in terms of being found. You want to have an SKU for each product, and you will need that info for data collection and inventory management. And there are many reasons why you want to use SKUs, not just in terms of the back office, in terms of how you manage your inventory, but also how you are found. There are 5 major reasons in our research why you want to use SKUs for WooCommerce. Customers who are ready to buy a specific item will get to your store via search. So when shoppers have narrowed down their choices to a specific item, it's very common to see them copy some identifying information into Google to do a final price check to find a store they like. And repeat customers can use SKUs to find and purchase products later. And if what you want to do also is if you ever sell to another store, you will be expected to have SKUs, because many small stores in our research expand their reach by selling their products to others via wholesale. And retailers also use your SKUs to search for product information, answer questions, and more. Okay, SKUs are often used by these companies as shortcuts to find the kind of information they need. And you also need to add an SKU if you are creating a product with variations, because the SKUs help differentiate the variable products from one another. I'll speak a little more about that later on. Okay, now if you want to read more about this topic, you really have time. I'm showing this to you right now on the screen. You can see where you can read that. And we have an important yes. So go to the screenshot there and just read more about it. Now, if you choose, and this is an option that is available to you, if you choose to set up taxes manually, you will be redirected to the WooCommerce settings, and you want to see the documentations on setting up taxes in WooCommerce to learn more about how to set them up manually. We're showing this to you right now, as well as the link. And there are 3 important things to keep in mind here, folks. If you want to do this, I want you to keep in mind this trifecta. First, you have enabling taxes. So to access the tax settings screens, they first need to be enabled. You need to enable them. So you need to go to WooCommerce, you go to settings and general. And in the general tab, you actually select the enable taxes and tax calculations checkbox. You got to do this if you want to go the manual route. And then you save changes, right? So that way, those settings are now activated. And so the first thing is enabling taxes. Number 2, configuring tax options. To start configuring taxes, you want to go to WooCommerce, settings, tax. So this tab is only visible if taxes are enabled. In other words, if the first step is done, then you can see this the second option. So the tax tab displays several options that can be set to suit your needs. Settings you choose are based on the tax jurisdictions under which your store is located, because everything in WooCommerce is customized based on the geography. All right. So, and the third part of the trifecta here is shipping tax class. Keep this. I want you to really pay attention to this. This is very important. In most setups, shipping tax class is inherited from the item being shipped. In other words, shipping a reduced rate, for example, such as baby clothes would also use a reduced rate. And if this is not the case in your location, you want to choose a different tax class. Jurisdiction plays an important role when it comes to taxes, and that makes sense. It's pretty logical, right? So in the case of multiple tax rates in the order, the shipping tax will be applied as follows. If you have a product with a standard rate in the order, it will be used for the shipping regardless if the rate is high or low. If you don't have a product with the standard rate in the order, then the first rate found in the additional tax class section will be used for shipping. So this differentiation is very important, because at the end of the day, what's the goal here? The goal is to make sure that your highest rate is listed the first in the additional tax section if you don't use the standard class, and if you need the highest tax rate to apply to shipping, for example. And here is a setup to showcase it visually. I want you to see right now on the screen. So you can see here that the standard class is there by default, right? But tax A, tax B, and tax C should be created for each tax class respectively. Note that it's not possible to delete the standard tax rate, but you can leave it empty and it'll be ignored. You can see on the screen here. Okay, next, I want you to set up payments. Think about setting up payments. Another important element here. Here, you want to select and activate one or more options to accept online payments and offline payments as well. Remember, you can also, with WooCommerce, you can accept offline payments. And all payment gateways offered are free extensions that are automatically installed and activated if selected. This is kind of important now. Some payment gateways require Jetpack, WooCommerce's partner, and those can be deactivated and uninstalled if you later decide not to use them. In some payment gateways, such as WooCommerce Payments, Stripe, and PayPal, basically WooCommerce, the setup wizard, will help you create an account in the payment provider, go through the authentication flow, and complete the process within the steps. So the cool thing here is that you can start accepting payments right away. And there are a few possible scenarios depending on where your store is located and the information you provided during the store profiler. And for example, if your store is located in the United States and you have Jetpack connected, you'll have access to the WooCommerce payments option alongside Stripe and PayPal. And the WooCommerce payments option will also become available in this task for stores without a Jetpack connection in the upcoming weeks and months. They're constantly rolling, WooCommerce is constantly rolling out their payment processing to other countries. All right. So you can see on the screen here. And if you live in another country than the United States, you will have Stripe and PayPal at your disposal if those providers are available, of course, in where you live. And if you selected that you plan to sell products in person in the business details step, WooCommerce will also display Square as an option. Okay. And if you're located, let's say in Austria, Denmark, Finland, Germany, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, or the UK, you also have Klarna as a payment option. In the States, some people know Klarna as a buy now, pay later option, but you have Klarna. Klarna is a pretty much, they are diversified. So they're also present in e-commerce. And if you are located in South Africa, you are also shown PayFast as a payment option. And if you're located in the United States and you want to sell CBD products, you need to select CBD and other hemp-derived products as industry in the store profiler, and you'll be able to use Square as a payment gateway. You can also set up very easily offline payments such as cash on delivery, COD, and direct bank transfer. Really depends on you. So you want to check out, again, I want you to check out before moving on, I want you to check out WooCommerce Payments to learn more, as this is the option we recommend. And don't forget that you also have Stripe, PayPal, and offline payments as other options. Again, it depends on your store configurations and your business model. Next, you need to complete the setup process. This is kind of important, folks. And here, what you want to do, you want to quickly, so once you complete the store setup checklist, or choose to hide it, right, it will be replaced by the store management widget, which contains useful links to most of the widely used WooCommerce pages for managing your store. You can see on the screen. And your WooCommerce store is now ready to rock and roll, folks. So you can also reuse the setup wizard. So if you like to run the profile setup wizard again, or enable or disable the task list, you can do it through the help panel that's available in some WooCommerce pages. So you want to go to any of the WooCommerce pages in the WordPress admin. And what you want to do is you want to select help at the top right corner, and you want to choose the setup wizard tab. And remember, folks, you can also import products to your store, return to your WordPress dashboard, or edit the settings you just configured. It's up to you. And most likely, however, what you'll want to do is start adding products, because this is, you have a store now, you have to populate it, right? So you have to add products. And so let's talk about adding products. So After installing WooCommerce, you'll find two new tabs on your dashboard's side menu. These are called WooCommerce, your general settings area, and products, your product settings area. So to start setting up your online store, you can either follow the link at the you can follow the link on the page itself, or you can go to products, add new. So you can see here. So the first thing you want to do is create a title and a short description of the product. Here is what just a title and description looks like in a live preview. I want you to see that right now on the screen. So with this done, you also want to add information about your new products to WordPress, right? So you can actually, if you scroll down in terms of adding key details to your product, if you scroll down below to the post or editor, you will see two new widgets not found on regular posts or pages. So this is the product data section. So here you can add all kinds of details about your products. At the very top, as you can see, you can actually select whether or not the product is virtual, which actually removes the shipping tab. And if it is downloadable, people can download it, right? And then in the general tab, you can enter actually in the regular and sales price. Sales can be time sensitive. So if you're selling digital products, you also have to upload the file to be purchased, customize the download limits. You can leave it blank. If you want to mark it as you can leave it blank to mark it as unlimited, and you can set the download expiry date, right? And next, in the inventory tab, you can manage your stock by entering the quantity of the product, stock status, and if you like to allow back orders. And additionally, you can mark actually the product as individually sold, meaning only one can be bought in a single order. And what about actually creating attributes and variable products? This is also important. So you have here, you can see on the screen that if you add the certain details to your products in the attribute tabs, they will appear on the product page. And you can also you can actually also select the variable product option. You can see that on the screen. This will give you access to a new variations tab where you can create multiple versions of your products using the attributes you already assigned. So for example, let's say you offer a shirt in red, green, and purple. You can actually add a variation for each color, then give each a unique description, price, and so on. All right. And so this makes it easy for visitors to view everything you have to offer at a glance. This is pretty cool. And underneath the product data widget, you'll also find a section labeled product short description. So once you do all this, here is what your final product might look like on the front end. I'm showing this to you on the screen. So once your product is ready, you want to hit publish to make it live on your site. Let's talk about actually managing your products. So now you've added products, now you have to think about managing them. You'll probably include a number of items in your WooCommerce store, which means you'll need an easy way to manage them. Fortunately, you can do this through the products tab in your dashboard. For example, you can select all products to see every item currently listed in your store. And we actually advise you to do this periodically to sort of see inventory, to see inventory movements, to understand what's really happening in your store. This is very important. So in the other pages under the product section, you can view your product categories, tags, and attributes. And each of these pages looks like the standard WordPress post categories page and can help you actually keep your entire inventory organized. Okay, so this is important. And then you want to customize your store. So customization means what? You have to think about orders, right? First up, the orders page displays a list of recent purchases on your store. Then you have the coupons. Very important. So WooCommerce has several useful options for adding new coupons to your e-commerce store. In the coupon tab, you can actually select create your first coupon to access the editing screen. And you can add a coupon code and description here. Then the general tab enables you to edit its basic information. So for instance, let's say the type of coupon, percentage discount, fixed card discount, or fixed product discount, the value, free shipping options, and the expiry date. It really depends on you. And under usage restrictions, you can set a minimum spend the customer has to make in order to validate the coupon, right? This is for marketing purposes and revenue generation purposes. You can also check the box for individual use only if you don't want customers to use the coupon in conjunction with other offers. And the final tab, usage limits, enables you to determine how many times the coupon can be used, both overall and per customer. You want to have some restrictions there, very important. What about reports? WooCommerce also offers powerful built-in tracking functionality. So this is in our research we found this is fantastic. This is really powerful. In the reports tab, for example, you can view charts and graphs of your sales, orders, and shipping costs over different time periods and over different geographies here. And each graph can be limited to the sales of a particular product, category, or coupon. And in the customers sub tab, you can also view your customer acquisition over the same time periods. And also, what about settings? Settings, this is where WooCommerce gets really impressive. In the settings screen, you can customize just about every aspect of your e-commerce store, folks. Every aspect. And there are gazillions of aspects depending on the size of your store and the geography. Elements such as the placement of your thousands separator, the entire checkout process, email options, and much more can be tailored to meet your needs. So within this section, the general tab covers your store's basic information, including its currency, selling locations, and display options. And another notable option that we love is enable tax rates and calculations. If you check this box, you'll gain access to a previously hidden tax tab. And you also want to pay attention to your product data, including measurements, reviews, stock details, download methods, and even add to cart buttons. Those things can be customized in the products tab. Shipping is where you can configure your shipping zones and pricing. You can also customize how shipping is calculated, right? And you can even choose basically what the default destination will be. Restricting your store availability only to specific countries is also possible. And last but not the least, the payments tab. And this is important. The payments tab shows you what payments processors are available and active on your store. And here you can enable and disable whatever payment options you like. And you also can, let's talk about the accounts and privacy. It's important also. This section controls various aspects of your customer's experience. So you can actually set up a privacy and checkout policy. You can configure how customer data will be stored and retained and more. And in the emails tab, you can customize all things customer support. And one thing I want to say here is that at the top of this screen, you'll find a list of email notifications that are sent through WooCommerce in response to specific triggers, such as an order being placed or canceled. You can click on any of these emails to enable, disable them, as well as to customize their contents. And you'll even find instructions in terms of editing email templates on WooCommerce. And if you go to the advanced tab, you can enable the REST API, configure keys, apps, and webhooks, and perform other lower level tasks. One thing I need to specify here, folks, is that all of those settings that I've been talking to you about, they can actually be customized and changed whenever you like, and your store will be updated automatically. So don't worry about if I do something now and I make a mistake, then the whole thing will be screwed. No. You can actually change, edit. It's totally up to you. Next, let's briefly check out the status tab. So this is how it looks like. In the Tools sub-tab on the same page, you can clear your website's caches for multiple variables, clear out old data, and even revert your store's settings to their defaults. And then you have extensions. So one of the attributes that make WordPress the most popular CMS, the content management system, on the planet right now, and this is hands down, is actually the community behind it. There are thousands of themes and tens of thousands of plugins you can use to customize your website. What's more, nearly 100% of them are user contributed. So this is not somebody those are contributed by users. So this also applies to WooCommerce, although on a smaller scale. You can find lots of tools for expanding your store, adding new options and features, and customizing its look in the extensions tab and elsewhere. So you can see the extensions tab here. For instance, while you can use WooCommerce with any theme, it can help to pick one that's designed for the plugin. So Storefront, as I said earlier, is a great place to start, but there are plenty of other options in directories such as Theme Forest. And you can also check out the WooCommerce extension store, which actually includes both developer created and third party options. And there are extensions for adding new shipping options to your store, enabling subscriptions, customizing the checkout process, integrating email and social media marketing, and much more. You can also find free and paid extensions that let you offer additional payments processors to your customers, as I said before, such as Square and Amazon Pay. Finally, you'll also have plenty of plugins designed to extend WooCommerce in a variety of ways. Just to give one example, the Braintree for WooCommerce plugin enables you to accept all kinds of payments on your store. This is pretty cool. So the bottom line here is, if you want to tweak something about the way your WooCommerce store works, chances are you can do so by simply finding the right tool. Next, so this basically sort of sums up the tutorial, folks, but there are two more things I want to acquaint you with, and those are very important elements here. So there are differences between WooCommerce and WordPress pages. So if you are familiar with WordPress, you'll notice that WooCommerce has some differences, particularly with pages. So you have the page layouts. So for what you would see is, for most WordPress veterans working on WooCommerce for the first time, the most startling feature is where to put content. So the main editing panel you see on a fresh new WordPress page is not where you put the content viewers first see about the product feature on that page. And so that very important piece of writing goes in the short product description field further down the page. And that large field at the top is where you put in details about the products, things like construction, components, country of origin, whatever you think will interest buyers enough to scroll down and get more information. So you also want to think about attributes and variations. So since WooCommerce is an online store, it includes items that may be unfamiliar to those accustomed to using WordPress simply for blogging. On each WooCommerce page you set up, you will see a place for attributes and variations. So what are attributes? Attributes are details about each product. So this includes things like individual sizes, different colors, V-neck versus a scoop neck, and so forth, if we're talking about t-shirts, for example. And you want to use attributes to group products. This is really the gist of it here. So there are two uses of this data type that are relevant to WooCommerce. First is you could do it via WooCommerce widgets. So you filter products by attribute. This allows you to select a specific attribute. If you add this widget to your sidebar, what will happen here is that customers can filter products in your store based on the attribute. The second option is via variable products. So to create a variable product, an attribute must first be defined for the products. So these attributes can then be used to make a distinction between different variations. Okay, and so variations basically combine attributes and simplify choices you present to the customer. So instead of listing colors and sizes separately and making a customer tick lots of boxes, you can actually list each size with a drop-down list of available colors. And extensions play a similar function to WordPress plugins, but are add-ons for WordPress itself, which is itself a plugin, right? It's pretty cool. And if you want to learn more, you can browse the WooCommerce marketplace to learn more about all the plugins that you need for shipping, marketing, payments, and so on and so forth. And you can also go to WooCommerce products. And so this is important to understand, that you don't want to be carried away with extensions. Too many extensions can slow down your site, folks. So you want to strike the right balance between extensions and user friendliness. Remember to focus on extensions that boost the user's experience, which should always be first and foremost. And if you have questions, folks, you can get in touch with a WooCommerce happiness engineer via their help desk. You can also provide expert priority support you can actually get expert priority support for WooCommerce.com and Jetpack customers, but not other third-party plugins. We're showing the links on the screen. If you're not a customer at WooCommerce.com, we actually recommend finding help on the WooCommerce support forum. And remember, you also can hire a recommended expert on the WooCommerce customizations page. All right, folks. Thank you so much for your attention today. I really appreciate it. This was a WooCommerce store setup tutorial, and there were 15 steps. Let me quickly recap the steps here. Number 1, get your website ready. Number 2, you want to install the WooCommerce plugin. Number 3, you want to access the setup wizard. 4, you want to configure your store. 5, you want to install marketing tools if needed. Number 6, you want to choose a theme. Number 7, you want to enhance your store with Jetpack and WooCommerce. Number 8, you want to optimize your store. Number 9, you want to set up shipping. Number 10, you want to set up tax. Very important. Number 11, you want to set up payments. 12, you want to complete the setup process. This is where you finalize things. Number 13, you want to add new products. Number 14, you want to manage your products. Number 15, you want to customize your store. And last but not the least, there are 2 more things that I just mentioned. So you want to understand that there are differences between WooCommerce and WordPress pages. And the second thing is, if you have questions about not only technical questions or questions of, I would say, branding and other visual elements, you can get in touch with WooCommerce help desk, or you can go to the forum, or you can hire someone to actually help you, especially with plugins. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.